Hey, this is Jessica Ma, and you're listening to the Moto X Pod Show, the only podcast that we listen to down under.
What's up, guys? This is Hunter Lawrence, and you're listening to the Moto X podcast.
Welcome to the Moto X Pod Show, starring Darkside. His co-host Scotty, sometimes TJ.
It's that time again. We are back with another episode of the Moto X Pod Show. This thing just keeps going and going this week. It's episode 223. 223 episodes of the show. A few one-offs here and there. I don't know if you guys checked out the Colin Morrison one that I put up last week. That thing's posted. Got a lot of good reviews out of that. This week, though, we are back, like I said, 223. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Cherubies USA. For decades, Cherubies USA has been the leader in motoplastic and accessories with products that fit perfect, look great, and last. Cherubies has what you need. Whether it's full plastic kits, individual pieces, hand guards, chain guides, and sliders, or anything else they offer, visit CherubysUSA.com and support our title sponsor. Follow them on Instagram and let them know we sent you. Our co-title sponsor, Race Tech. Race Tech is the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Race Tech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed, made right here in the USA. Racetech also offers state-of-the-art precision engine services and parts to all engine builders, so visit racetech.com for more info and use the promo code MOTOXPOD to save. Dude, get those, your forks serviced, your shock serviced, get complete revalves, whatever you guys need, hit them up, use the promo code MOTOXPOD. Also, Fly Racing, X-Brand goggles, Works Connection. Dude, if you don't have something Works Connection on your bike, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I don't know where you're living. It's like a bizarre world. Torque One Racing on board. Our jerky, use that promo code MOTOXPOD21. I purchased some jerky this weekend and had it sent to the hotel in Minneapolis, so it will be there when I get there so I can enjoy that in the freezing cold. Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID. Need a new graphics kit? You need to upgrade your bike? You need to get your name and number on the back of your jersey? Add all your sponsors, as many as you can fit. Bermlords can do it, or as little as you want, they can do it. Graphics at bermlords.com. Shock Socks, Williams Moto Works, Extreme Colors, Blood Lubricants, Power Band Racing, and True Fusion Sports all on board with us. Again, 223 tonight. We have Shane McElrath coming on. Austin Forkner is going to be on after the press conference here in a little bit. They're doing that right now, the East Coast press conference. He's going to be on tonight talking about starting the season up. Man, we're going to see where he's at after some injuries. Adam Enticknap's going to come on. He made his first main this last week at A3. He's going to come on, the Seven Deuce Deuce. And in post, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you will miss out on this one. But Daniel Blair is going to come on later this evening. We'll add that thing to the end of the show. He hit me up a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, I don't even remember, and asked if we had room for him. And, of course, we have room for Daniel Blair. Scotty?
Yeah, it's going to be be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was reading.
I expected more out of you.
No, I'm sorry, I was reading comments. I wasn't ready for my tune-in.
No worries. Well, we're back, Scotty. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good. I think that the Supercross season is about to take a good turn. East Coast. I think it's good for the lights, or not the lights, the 250 class, because there wasn't much left of that class after this weekend. So it'll be good to see a fresh new crop of riders, and I think there's gonna be a lot to come. I think Anderson and Tomac have separated themselves, and it's on. Let's go.
Yeah, you ready for a nerd joke?
Sure.
The West Coast 250 class blew up like the Death Star.
Oh God, that's not even good.
That's all I got, man. It's what came to me.
Someone hit the one little button that's in there that destructs the whole.
Yes, well, that was in the whoops.
Yeah, it was the whoops.
It was the button. The little hole. I can't think what the expansion chamber or whatever was in the whoops. Yeah. Anyway, that's a terrible joke. Whatever.
It's okay.
Guys, if you're listening to this, if you're fans of the show, check out our Patreon page and, dude, support the show if you can. Every little bit helps. You can do as little as $1 a month if you want to support the show. You know, $5, $10, $100. It really goes a long way for us. Gets us to some of these races. Gets us. I actually had to order some stuff for my camera setup the other day. So you know that some of that money got used for that. It means a lot to us. And our YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're not, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm sure I'm going to get some video this weekend for the Moto X Pod Show vlog. Get some interviews. I had to go up there, like that thing, subscribe, share it with your friends, and same thing on iTunes. Go to iTunes if that's how you listen to pods. Like the show, leave a comment. All that stuff matters to us. It matters to the what's the word I'm looking for? The algorithm to get us moving up, get us seen. So yeah, we want to move this show on up, get more sponsors, get more money, go to more races.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, and it just kind of keeps growing. And I got an opportunity to go because of it, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, obviously we just came off A3, and the biggest story is the decimation of the 250 class, the whoops. It's been talked about so much. I don't know how much we really need to get into it. I do feel like Feld needs to look at it. It was bad. All the riders are complaining. Pretty much all the riders. I don't think I've heard anybody say that was great. The whoops were awesome. It caused a lot of problems.
For the 250 guys, yeah. I think for the 450 guys, though, it's good. It's a good separator. He's got to have something because they're all doing the same rhythms. I mean,
but those guys, even like Jason and Eli, almost died multiple times.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be that sketchy.
They can. I think they can be that big. They just need to
roll them.
Yeah. But you know, it is what it is. I think they're trying to do something different. I've liked it so far. I think that they do need to kind of give them a break, though.
Yeah, Justin Starling was talking last night that like the whoops were like different size on the right than the left, and then like they were going kind of like they weren't even. They were kind of going up and going down, or maybe they went up in the middle and went back down. Like I don't know if that's something like you just said they're trying to do something different, or if somebody new is building the whoops. But man, they got to get a hold of it. I don't like it. I don't want to see these guys get hurt. I want big whoops. I want them to be challenging for good racing, but I don't want them to be killing guys because they're too sketchy, too dangerous, whatever. You know, I don't know. I don't like that. But as far as the 450 class, you mentioned like Jason Anderson, Eli Tomac, right now are the class of the field. I think without a couple of little things, negative things happening, Jason's the points leader.
I mean, he's only 12 back. That's not much.
Like this still could be a really good season. Whether Cooper can turn things around, I don't see Cooper catching up. But I think he's going to start turning things around.
I still think that he could get top 3 for the podium. Yeah. The one thing that is I thought is kind of interesting is what's up with Marv.
What do you mean?
He'll pull a whole shot and then drop to 10th.
Yeah. He'll
start to 10th and then go to 3rd. He'll go in 3rd and then crash and go to 7th and work his way back up to 4th. Like what? Where, like,
I don't know.
He's maybe fast? What's going on with him?
I mean, we could ask that about a bunch of guys, right? You can ask that about Kenny and Cooper. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I just think those guys aren't consistent right now. Clearly, they're probably having bike issues or figuring out the new bike, trying to maybe settings. I don't know the answer because they're not telling us anything. But clearly, there's no consistency with those guys. But then again, you have this field of guys where there's a lot of fast guys. Dylan's super, super fast. If he's not crashing, if he's not getting bad start, even when he gets bad starts, he's fast. I just don't know that there's a whole lot of consistency. I haven't looked at the lap times to see. I mean, obviously a couple guys are dropping off, but I think if you don't get a good start and you get a couple guys to pass you right away, you're just kind of screwed. Like you can't really make that time back up.
Yeah, you have to start off fast and you have to hold it the whole race.
You got to get good starts. I mean, it's if you don't get a good start, it's not impossible to get up to the front, but it's very unlikely. It's just the field is too good right now, and really not a lot of major injuries. I mean, obviously Adam went out, but for the most part,
he was already hurt.
Yeah, the 450 guys are pretty good so far. Most of like I can't think off the top of my head of anybody that's really hurt, right?
Yeah, no, they've stayed in there for the most part. So as far as that goes, the chat room is pretty much talking about what I think the chat room's talking about.
I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of things.
I
don't know.
It's the last show with the pony.
That is true. I don't know that we have time to get into that right now. I guess we can. I feel
Jake said, "How about we get Amber in for some questioning and answers about the haircut?"
Dude, she's not about getting on the podcast.
No,
I've tried, and she wouldn't talk about that. She's just, it's out. Sorry, guys. That's not going to happen. I'm not like last night. Those guys are like, "Oh, I was going to get him more confidence, and he's not confident now, and he's so upset." And like, I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not worried. Really, I don't know what the word is for how I feel. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And as far as the confidence thing, those guys are idiots, man. I feel like I'm pretty damn confident in myself. Like, if anything, I might feel less confident once their hair's cut.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking,
but,
like,
I still feel pretty confident in myself. Whether I have any right to be confident, maybe not. But that's stupid. Those guys Chris and Steve have zero idea what they're talking about when it comes to me. They think they know me. They don't know shit.
It's very high school-esque. It's it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing along with it, and maybe to some degree I should just be like, F you guys, but I mean, I still see it as
you
a
knew
little bit
that
fun.
it was going to be like that.
I see it as a little bit fun right now. Like, I don't feel like there's many lines crossed. I mean, Steve says some things that don't make sense sometimes, but I mean, I'm getting a bike out of the deal. I'm cool. I'm happy about that. But the funny thing is, I was going to call Kiefer today about this. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been a couple moments, whether it be like at a grocery store or Walmart or
you've been noticing the looks.
Machine shops happen a lot. Like when we go to, I'm working for the city, I have to go to a machine shop for something. There's a lot of older guys, like older than me, with long hair, and they're like real thin, scraggly hair.
We also live in the South.
Heavy set guys. And I'm like, I don't want to look like that. Like, they don't look cool at all. I hope I don't look that uncool right now. Maybe I do, and I just don't see it. But I don't want to look like that. So maybe it's not a bad thing. I don't know yet. But like, I know that I don't want to be 60 years old with a
you definitely don't have a mullet.
Like, I don't want to have a big pot belly and real stringy, thin, like your hair's almost gone, like George Carlin-esque. Like, that's not a good look. So anyway, I'm not that worried about it. Some of it I play up a little bit for the show. We'll see how it goes, man. But if they have more questions or comments, we can maybe get into that a little bit. But we have 8 minutes before we got to get Shane on. 250 East kicks off this weekend at Minneapolis.
Yep.
It is a day race. 4 o'clock, I think, race time, local time.
That's so weird.
Very weird. I think Steve said that's Denver. Denver's a even weirder schedule. Anyway, it's going to be early morning qualifying.
Like negative 3 degrees.
I almost wish I hadn't said that, because if anybody's playing fantasy, I want them to forget and miss out.
Oh,
Should have
yeah.
kept my mouth shut, but regardless. But 250 East, Jet Lawrence, Austin Forkner, Cameron McAdoo, R.J. Hampshire, Max Volan, Jeremy Martin. Then you got like Pierce Brown, Derek Drake, Mitchell Oldenburg, Jet Reynolds, the rookie, and Phil Nicoletti. There's some good guys, man, on the East right now.
Yeah.
How long that lasts, I don't know. But there's the first 4 or 5. I don't know about Max. 4 of the first 5 I mentioned potentially should be able to win races, all those guys. Like, I know we always say that. We always think it's going to be a little different than it turns out, but I'm very excited for this East Coast.
Okay. The question is, who's more the guy whose championship is it more to lose, J Mart's or Jet's?
No, Jet. I don't think J Mart's even the top 2 or 3. J Mart's never been good in Supercross.
I know, but it's his time.
Dude, no way. Jet Lawrence, Austin Forkner, and RJ are the favorites in my opinion.
I can't argue. You cannot put J Mart in unless something crazy
He's
happens.
in the top 4 or 5, like him and McAdoo, the other 2. But I think
would
all
you
those
call
guys,
him? You call him a title contender at least?
Jet, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Of the top 5, how many can I say are title contenders? Because I can say any of those 5 could win potentially.
I mean, I guess going into
realistically, I'm going to say the title contenders are Jet Lawrence, Austin Forkner, R.J. Hampshire.
Okay, I got you. I think
with McAdoo and Jeremy as 1As. 1A,
I
1Bs.
I think Max is my surprise.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to be really good. He did have a little foot issue a couple weeks ago.
Tyler agrees with me. J Mart is winning it. Stamp it. I'll argue it. I'll drive the J Mart bus.
Drive it all you want, but I mean, Steve's been driving that troll train for a long time and hasn't gone anywhere.
Hey, Craig was kind of in the J. That's a good point, Tyler. Craig was kind of in that same conversation going into this round, and look who's just unbeatable. Looks like Stewart, Oh,
we'll
Craig.
see. Jeremy's gonna have to show me something that he hasn't really shown yet in Supercross before I change my opinion. But I just don't see it yet. I'm actually going perfect world, no goofy crashes. Austin Forkner is the champion.
Yeah,
but he hasn't proven that yet either. So to some degree, I'm contradicting myself. But I'm putting Austin and Jed as the top two with RJ right there.
Moto Limited Show says McAdoo is your winner. Moto Limited.
Is that Nick or Trent?
Just says Moto Limited. I think that's Trent.
If it's Trent, I'll give him credit. If it's Nick, he's an idiot. I gotta tell Trent sent me. You guys heard that drop at the beginning. If you're listening, of Jessica Marr, that's Trent's wife. I love that accent, man.
Yeah.
We were when we were at A1. I was at their hotel, and Trent was FaceTiming his wife, and I was like, "Damn, your chick's got a sexy accent. Like, it just sounds awesome." So he had to record that for me, and they actually recorded a really special one for me that I can't play on here.
Oh,
so
fancy.
Yeah. He doesn't know about the video she sent me, but I also got a video.
Dang, shots fired over here.
He knows that's bullshit. But okay, let's. We got 4 minutes, so yeah. I don't know. What do you want to touch on before we go to break? There's not really a lot of time to talk about anything. Is there anything that stood out to you from A3?
Man, it was kind of
all the guys that almost died.
Yeah, there was like 4 laps in a row, same spot, just carnage.
Hunter,
and
Joe Shimoda, dude, that was nasty.
And then Derek Kelly got caught up into it. He didn't get hurt, but he was putting in a good ride. That was a good chance for him to be top 5, I think, and I think he could have, because there was. I mean, look at the top 5 that was there. I mean, it wasn't the guys that were normally in there. I don't want to.
Mose had an issue.
Yeah, and so it was just carnage as far as the whole kind of thing went. To me, the best race was the 450 LCQ.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, we love those LCQs should always be on TV.
I think as far as the 450 main goes, I think Tomac realized that he didn't quite have Anderson's speed last night or that night. And I think the question comes to Tomac obviously kind of does better in the football stadiums. His best race of the year is Glendale, the only football stadium that we've had. And I just think that once we go there, does Anderson still have that edge on him once we go into the East Coast and football stadiums and more ruddier tracks? I'm excited to see the dogfight between them two. It's obviously come down to both of them, and I just kind of want to see what happens. And then I like that there's now the championship battle is kind of formed, and what's cool about it is there's so many guys that can play spoiler. So you never know who's going to get in there and be hot that day. You know, Chase can be hot any day. Mookie can be hot any day. You got to expect Cooper Webb to turn it around and have do something. So it'll be kind of cool.
Maybe Kenny figures something out.
It'll be hopefully. I'd like to see it turn. Yeah, Kenny can turn something out. Yeah. Hopefully, I'd like to see it turn into a thing to where it's the 2 guys in the championship, but it's not just like in the past where even if one of them goes down, they're still going to get second. It's going to be a real title fight. So that's my hope. So.
There's a lot of guys that could be potential winners, and if they don't make mistakes like Jason Anderson in qualifying had that triple, and that could have been bad. That could have ended the season almost. Like, that was pretty gnarly. And I think who hit him? Two guys hit him, and I don't even remember who it was off the top of my head now. But maybe it was Chase Sexton and Cooper Webb, because Webb helped him get the bike off of him. So that was pretty scary. All right, commercial break. We'll be back with Shane McElrath. What's up, guys? Our first guest of the night is brought to you by Fly Racing. Since 1998, Fly Racing has been developing and innovating its gear line. Fly Racing is the only choice if you want the best. Just check out their line of current riders and go to your local dealership and ask for Fly Racing, distributed through WPS. Tonight, Fly Racing brings us from Rocky Mountain ATV MCKTM, Shane McElrath. What's up, buddy?
What is going on? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. I know I've talked to you a number of times. I don't know that I've ever had you on the show. I didn't have your number in my phone, so that was weird.
Yeah, I think you're right, honestly. I know I've talked to you before.
Yeah.
But not on the radio.
That blew me away. Like when I saw you in the airport at Glendale, And I was checking my phone and didn't have your number. I was like, wow, what a miss by me. That's on me. But
it's all good.
I was glad we ran into each other, man. Look, this is essentially your rookie season. Last year you got 2 races and had the injury. Your starts are killing it, and I imagine you're just still trying to figure things out.
Yes. I'm a little bit disappointed about the last 2 weekends. We've been changing some stuff, and it's affected my starts, but I'm back on what I was on, and I'm ready to rip some more hole shots. I'm enjoying really the learning process. It's really tough class, trying to figure out how to race the 450, and I missed out pretty much on all year last year, just experience wise. So I'm trying to figure out a lot of things right now. So yeah, it's and really getting good starts is the best way that I know how to put myself in the mix and try and soak up as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to what you just said. You said trying to learn to race the 450. Specifically for you, what does that mean?
Well, the 450s. I mean, I just think back to always hearing people talk about the 4-strokes as being like a lazy man's bike. And like the 4-strokes are super easy to ride. And then you get on the 450 and it's like, holy cow, this thing has a lot of power. Well, then we get on a supercross track and we barely use half the throttle on it. And then we're put in a race scenario, and just the intensity of the race is super hard to control the power. I mean, you're just like, go, 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 but you have to respect the bike, or it will either beat you up or throw you off. And so that's really the hardest thing, is how can I set up my bike, and like with your engine guy, it's like, how can he tune it to where mentally I can ride it hard, and it's like, you don't have to worry about, oh, I barely have to hit the gas here, I have to let off here. It's like, you want to try and be able to ride it as hard as you can, given how much power it has.
Right.
And so that's really the hardest thing.
Do you think that it would be beneficial if the premier class, your class, was also on 250Fs, and there was like, an entry class, whatever they want to call it, but the premier, everybody rode 250s in Supercross, because it really is unnecessary to have the power of a 450.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's honestly, experience wise, like, dude, some of those guys, what's hard is like when we're in qualifying, like some of my best qualifiers have came from like literally just trying to connect the whole track, and I'm not really being that aggressive, and I'm still like maybe like 2 seconds off the fastest time. But I'm like, dude, I really like looking for those extra little bits, and hanging it out on the 450 is totally different than the 250. And so that's where like the level of experience and just respect for the bike, and I'm telling you, it's an art in itself for like some of those guys, how well they ride the 450, given they've been there for 10 years, but it's like, dude, it is not easy. And that's what I'm learning. And so I think it's kind of part of being the premier open class I mean, it would obviously be easier to ride something with less power. And I mean, starts honestly, like the 350 I raced at Monster Cup some years ago, that bike was really fast. Like at the time, that was more than enough, and I had trouble riding it because in my head I'm like, the first year I raced it was a glorified 250, and I could kind of like just race it hard. The next year they actually put some time into building the motor for it, and I could not ride it the same. It was like, oh, I have to ride this more like a 450. So I mean, the 350s, when they've got some good motor work done to them, they're super good. I don't really know. I know they're a little bit lighter, but I don't know. Yeah,
It's just a different skill set.
Being a rookie, I don't know that I'm really the one to answer that question.
No, that's fair. That's fine. That was a good answer, actually. I liked it. So it kind of changed my opinion, actually, because you talk about it being a different skill set. I kind of like that as a factor. So, no, you actually changed my thought process in your answer.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody can just hold it wide open, right?
Well, not anybody.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. Even the 250s now, though, they have good power. And as we've seen it a lot on the tighter tracks over the last few years, where the 250s will qualify faster because, I mean, you can get in and out of the corners like super quick, whereas the 450, I mean, unless you're going down to first gear in some of the corners, it's kind of hard to do some of the tighter tracks. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Shane, I kind of wanted to go back. We talked about your starts at the beginning. I kind of want to go back to that for a second. So you've obviously, like, it's not even without a doubt, have been the best starter, I think, of the 450 class this year. You've consistent wise, you're just always right there. So what is it that you think that you're doing different than the other guys? Is it a technique? Is it your gear that you're in? Is it you just naturally have a good reaction? What do you think is giving you those starts every time?
Well, honestly, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. No, I'm just kidding. So it's honestly, the starts are probably one of the easiest things to overthink and over practice. And it's for me, it's one of the little things that once you know how to do a start and get a good start, it honestly, you don't necessarily need to practice them. You don't need to work on them, because a lot of it's mental. And like me personally, I work on starts more mentally than physically, because you've always got these variables when you're actually on the gate. Like outside of the gate changes from gate to gate and from track to track and all the way around. But it's like the grates, now that we have the grates, the launch is consistent every single time. And so it's super easy to not be completely focused on the start when you're on the starting line. I'm telling you, it is so easy to already be thinking about the race and already be thinking about the first turn. And it's like, you have to be complete focus on the start. And that's really all I try to focus on. I try not to focus on the race at all. It's like, once we're out there, we just react. Like I mean, as racers, we take it as it comes, really. Yeah. But the start is kind of where it's like, dude, I have to be 100% focused right here, because my main goal is to beat the guy on my left and the guy on my right. Because if I do that, then I'm in pretty good space.
Yeah, it's so interesting what you're saying, because I'm sitting here thinking about, like, whether it be whoops or anything you're involved in. If somebody's good at a particular thing, like you're obviously killing it on the starts, like you're like, it's easy to focus on this and do this. This is what I have to focus on, and you have it figured out for you. But then there's a guy like say Dylan Ferrandis, who's just struggling, probably pulling his hair out. David Villeman's probably going crazy with it, and they just can't figure it out. But that comes, it's coming. I don't want to say easy, but it's working for you. It's so interesting, like you said, the mental side of it. He's probably going insane. And you're like, yeah, it's you just have to do this, and you can do it. It's just so interesting when somebody's good at something and somebody else maybe is not, and those people are like, no, dude, it's not that easy.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I've been in that situation, and you literally will try anything. Yeah, it's like, what's this dude down the road think? What is so and so think? Yeah. Because you're just like, dude, I've tried everything I can think of, and I'm open to anything anybody has to say. And I mean, Dylan, unfortunately, he's one of the best on the track, and we have all seen him struggle with his starts. And I mean, personally, that to me, that goes back to, it's so easy when you're in that position to try anything, and then it's the same with suspension. You're like, I'm not sure, I'll deal with it now, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll change this down the road and I'll deal with it now. And like after so many times, then you're like, dude, where am I even at? And
right,
so
you lost.
I can understand what he's going through right now, because I know for a fact with how much Dylan puts into his riding and his training and everything, like I know he is trying everything on his starts, just knowing how he is. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, because that's my advantage over other riders. And so right now it's like I'm working on other areas of my racecraft, and I can rely on my starts. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter who I line up against. I try to pick the best gate I can, and it's like I try not to look left, I try not to look right, and it's like I'm about to get a good start, because that's all I'm focused on. Yeah,
I dig that. And once you get those good starts, with the way the races have gone, and you start getting past, like, again, I'm not a guy, I say this every week, I'm not a guy that has any riding talent. I go ride for fun, but I would think once guys start going by you, you could get a little bit disheveled if you're not focused, like you're talking about. Like, when that's happening, you're in that moment and guys are starting to pass you, is it easy or difficult to stay focused and positive on what you're doing and say, okay, I'm going to learn from this, I'm going to watch what these guys are doing? Or can you kind of easily be like, crap, it's just falling apart?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
It honestly depends on maybe some of the changes you've made that day to the bike. And I mean, for me, it's kind of been frustrating, because like I'm going back to like trying to learn to race the 450. In my head, I'm like, dude, we got the whole shot, let's go. But then I override the track a little bit, and I'm wearing myself out, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? And then somebody will pass me, and I'll just be like, all right, settle down a little bit and just follow the person ahead of me. And then I'm like, dude, this is nicer to be here. And then it's just crazy, because the consistency and the intensity, I don't know if it's just from me not racing in a while, but it's like my mentality is get the whole shot and like sprint. And especially like in the 450 class, like there's no time all day where we go out on a pretty decent track. Like it's always beat up. It's always kind of the bottom of the barrel. And the 450 class, those guys, they ride with a pretty good amount of intensity for a very long time. It's not like they've got insane intensity and then they flatten out.
Right.
And that's what's kind of I'm having to figure out, is where's that balance of, okay, can I ride this pace for a little while just to learn, instead of banging my head against the wall and wearing myself out?
Sure. Yeah. You got to be smart. Yeah. And it sounds like, you are a smart racer. It sounds like, clearly.
I'm trying to be.
Right.
I think you get there, man. You seem like one of those guys that you have a path that you're going down, and you understand what you need to do, and you're smart, and I think you'll get there eventually. Before you go,
I think it really goes back to what you were talking about. Being a rookie, learning the 450, like it is still, you're still learning, man. You're still, it's still a learning process, Scotty, for him. So he is going to get there. Obviously, he has the skills. It's just putting it all together, figuring it all out. So it's just going to be a frustrating season probably this year. Maybe for another, maybe to come around. Hopefully, it does in the next couple of races. But it's just go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just trying to be patient, and it's like I have a good weekend, and then it's like I have a really good week, and then it's like something goes a little wrong, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So
right.
I'm just trying to find the consistency of being good, like not necessarily great one weekend and then holy crap, what are you doing out there?
right.
And so that's another thing in itself.
Well, and to your credit, you're also in arguably the most stacked 450 class that we've had in a long time. So there's very little room for error.
Yeah.
We did have a listener question. They said that they wanted to kind of see what maybe some of the differences were in the bike that you're on now, maybe compared to some of the factory help that you got in the past on, the Star and then the TLD team. Are you getting most of the factory stuff that you want, or is there kind of, do you have to adjust to getting different kind of parts, limits that maybe you weren't used to, anything like that?
It hasn't been too hard of a transition. The thing with the, I guess the quote unquote factory teams is really the number of people and the access to things that they have. I mean, our team specifically, like, we still have access to most of the stuff that they did when they were factory. Mm-hmm. We've just kind of taken everything in-house now. And so it took us a little while to get some things worked out. And so with Joey, he's been on like some factory stuff. Myself has, and Max, he has, but I don't think with KTM. Well, maybe in Europe, but I don't know that they would even have the same stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like we kind of get a feel for stuff that we like. And I mean, people kind of always bring up like Brayton always just wanting his factory front brake. And it sounds like a simple, I don't know, petty thing, but as a racer, it's like having a good front brake is the difference in making a pass and not making a pass. And not only once, but turn after turn. And so, I mean, for me, I'm on a production frame, whereas the other guy, like Joey and Max, they were on last year's factory frame. And for me, that was just a personal choice. It's like, I like the production one. And so we still have access to some of those things. It just, we have a lot more freedom to kind of pick and choose what we want to do. And I mean, there's really, as far as my bike goes, I'm on production frame, all production chassis pretty much, just suspension setup and motor and like tie bolts and stuff. But my bike is pretty much a bike that anybody else can go out there and buy the parts and build. And I mean, we have Jamie from Twisted Development doing our motors, and he's done motors for a very long time, and he's got it down like pretty solid, and came out to the track and set my bike up the way I wanted it. And same for Joey and same for Max. Like, we each wanted something a little different, and that's what he did for us. And same with suspension. Our suspension guy, Marky, and also Mike, Mark used to be at KTM. And so now we're still using some parts from there. It's just under a different company. So yeah. It's, I mean, I would say the factory term is kind of widespread a little bit. Sure. We don't have a lot of data readers. We don't have a lot of, I guess, technicians for each specific job. We're just kind of a smaller operation, and I'm still kind of with the same goal.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about Jamie at Twisted, man. I mean, he's helping doing engines for a lot of teams, and like really, I know he's been around a long time, but just in the last couple of years, I started hearing about him from like Chris Kiefer and stuff. And yeah, he's killing it. It seems like everybody that he works for has killer motors. Yeah. No, this is my first time ever having any of his stuff, but even before this year, I've over the last few years, I have some buddies that use him, and they've always just been like, dude, this guy does such a good job. Yeah. Shane, we don't have a whole lot of time left with you. I got a couple more questions I want to ask you about.
Yep.
What's it like having Burner in your corner? That's a guy with a lot of knowledge and just really smart when it comes to racing and bike setup. How beneficial is he?
Yeah, well, I actually haven't gotten to work with him that much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he was on the team last year, and he's been at 83 with Cooper Webb, but that was like getting to ride with them and just, I mean, Burner is an ex-racer. He's got a lot of experience and wisdom, and just here, I mean, it's crazy because every ex-racer is detail oriented, but it's not necessarily in all the same areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so hearing another opinion, another story of his experience, and I mean, you can literally take everything like somebody like Burner says and apply it and be like, dude, yeah, that's all pretty spot on. And so, I mean, I know he worked a lot with Baggett and the guys last year. I know they really loved having him on the team, and he seemed to work well with everybody. I didn't get to work directly with him.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Scotty, you got one more?
I've got. So we've seen in the sport, it's kind of had to change lately. It used to be, didn't have a family, no distractions, and now it kind of seems like the marriage, family life, kind of grounds you guys and lets you give, has a more support team. And you see a lot of guys that once they get that family, they start having a lot of success. And I've seen that you've been kind of, you've been vocal about how important your marriage is to you. And I just kind of wanted to ask maybe a little bit of a different question about that. So what is one thing that your wife does that helps you that she doesn't realize that she does? Obviously, everybody, she helps you with your diet and what, the obvious stuff. But what is something that she doesn't even realize that she does that helps you in the long run?
Probably just her role as a wife. I mean, it's in a lot of people see marriage as what can I get out of it, or like you need to do this for me, this is your job, and this and that. And like, honestly, for us, we try to lead a godly marriage, and so we see the Bible as that's firm. And it's like we have disagreements, but ultimately we have to go back to, okay, what does Scripture say about this? And having a wife like Joy, it just, her, like, we're a team and we're in this together, and she, like, her heart is so much that of a servant that it's like she wants to help me in any area. And that's what is crazy as a guy. Like, we like to be independent. We like, no, I got this, let me do this. And like, Joy, she's like, no, you go do nothing. You need to rest, you need to recover. She's like, let me do this. Like, I want to do this. And so just having a wife that strives to serve selflessly, it's honestly the biggest thing.
Oh, awesome answer, man. Awesome. Okay, last question. Glendale free practice. You and Cooper, man, were a little aggressive in that free practice. I just want to hear, what that was about.
Yeah, well, I think I kind of caught Cooper off guard a little bit.
Okay.
But honestly, like, he went a little wide, and I was like, oh, I can get through here. And I didn't really expect him to just kind of leave it open that much. And then, so I just went in there. I didn't really think anything about it. But then I could tell he was trying to get back to the inside of me the next corner. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're doing this. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I honestly didn't really think anything about it. I thought it was pretty cool, because I'm like, hey man, I tell him all the time at the practice track, I'm like, dude, get that web wagon fired up. I'm trying to ride it to the top.
I like it. It. It was entertaining to watch, man. It was fun. So yeah, I was just curious how that went. Well, Shane, man, I wish we had a little more time with you, but it's been really great. I apologize for not getting you on here sooner. It's ridiculous that I've let it go.
All good.
Well, I'll see you this weekend at Minneapolis if I'm not frozen. So,
Yes, sir.
it's going to be a cold one, but it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see you in a couple days, man.
Yeah,
Thank
if you recognize him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have short
Yeah.
hair, dude. My hair's getting cut Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pulp thing, man.
You know what? That's all right. Change is good.
There we
That's
go.
what
Look
that's
at
what
that.
Chris Kiefer
Listen to
and
Shane.
Steve keep telling me. It's change. It's going to be good for me, but I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. But I
Yeah.
am getting a 2022 YZ250 in exchange for me cutting the hair, so I couldn't say
Oh,
no.
that's a piece of cake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good deal.
I'll come up and reintroduce myself Saturday.
All right. Yeah. I'll have to get a visual of you again so I can remember you.
Right. Well, Shane,
Yeah.
thanks for having some time for us tonight, buddy. Be safe, and we'll see you this weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
take care. Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Shane McElrath, brought to you by Fly Racing and X-Brand Goggles. Commercial break, we'll be back with Austin Forkner. Next up tonight on episode 223, brought to you by Works Connection. Since the inception of Works Connection in 1989, Eric Phipps' goal has been to produce Works-like products for the general public. With products like the industry standard Pro Launch Start Device, the Elite Clutch Perch, radiator braces, customized master cylinder covers, and much more, it's hard to imagine you not going to WorksConnection.com so you too can have what the pros use. Tonight, Works Connection brings us from Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Austin Forkner. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
It's going good. How'd that press conference go a little while ago?
It was good. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really listen to what anybody else said. I was every time they would get done talking, I would just unpause it and listen to what the next question was, as if it was, somebody's asking me a question.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just here's what it is. I haven't done those in a while now, so
Yeah.
didn't really mind it, being talked to and asked questions. I didn't get much of that last year.
Dude, at least
outdoor one.
At least you kind of missed out. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because you're in the city, but being here centrally, those West Coast races press conferences are like midnight local, our time, central, right? And it's like, God dang, 12:15, they're doing a press conference. Obviously, wherever the race is, it's 10:15, but man,
Yeah.
I bet post-race you hate those things.
Yeah, I mean, because, especially, just because, we have to give the 450 guys a little bit of time to cool down and get back and get, undressed and everything. Because, I don't remember, did we not, we did them on Zoom even last year, right?
Yes.
I only got one podium Supercross, so I forgot. But,
That's right.
yeah, but,
Yes.
but yeah, the doing them after in the stadium, to be honest, I probably prefer that just because it's, we're still there, and the 450 guys can just go straight from the race
Right.
to the press conference. That's usually what they did. So, and I'm still there. We're just now getting, changed and everything from our race. So, to be honest, I probably prefer that, and just I think it's a better deal than on Zoom. But
Right.
yeah,
Well,
it is what it is.
this year, you guys are still doing them at the stadium, sort of like the old school way, but we're on Zoom, and you're sitting there with nobody in the room. Well, Sean's there and some other guys are there, but so instead of going back to the hotel like last year, they're taking you to the room at the stadium, and then most of us are just staying in the up at the press box or at home and doing it that way. So it's Zoom, but you're in the stadium.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it was like a mixture, or kind of going back to the old way, but not fully. So that is what it is.
Hey,
just
if you're doing the press conference, you got on the podium, dude.
yeah. That's why I never really minded it,
Right?
Because it's been a decent night. If I were to get asked to go to the press conference after I got sixth, then I wouldn't be happy being there. But
Fair enough.
at least if you're at least making whether you should have won or whatever the case, you're on the podium, you're making some bonus money, you can't be too upset.
Right. Well, I'm probably going to ask you some questions that you got asked in the press conference. I had to bail out to get the show going, but coming off the injuries last year, a small injury at going into West Coast this year. Right now, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel solid. I feel good. Pretty much 100%. As far as, you as far as dirt bikers being 100%
Right.
can be. I feel 100%. I feel solid, and I feel strong on the bike, and my fitness is there. It was never really a big issue, or pretty much this just all preseason and everything. My fitness has been good, as good as ever. So that really hasn't been a problem. Really there hasn't been a lot of like big problems this preseason. I mean, the bike wasn't. I didn't think it was too bad. Just what we started off from last year, and I think it's gotten better. We've gotten some better stuff that we've worked on for starts, because that was the biggest thing from last year was I didn't like the start map or whatever we had to get off the gate. I didn't like last year, but we've made some changes from that, and it's much better. That we just did some of that stuff even just last week, and I was like, yep, that was the kind of the last thing I was waiting on. And I had already talked to the guys about it, and they didn't act like it was going to be too big of a deal, so that's why they were kind of like putting it off, and then came out and just did that in a day. And I was like, all right, yep, that was pretty much the last thing I felt like I needed before we go racing, and now everything feels solid.
That's good to hear. Is that what you kind of hinted at in the press conference? You said there were some bike changes you wanted but didn't get.
Yeah, that was what I was. That honestly, that has been the biggest change for me.
Okay.
I didn't think the bike was too bad last year, and they've gotten it. I mean, we've made changes, and I think it is better now, definitely, just because I think it was a little soft coming from last year, and what we kind of have changed to now, I think definitely fixed that. Yeah, that was the biggest change that I felt like I needed, because I mean, my speed was there in the first couple rounds of Supercross last year. Like I was fast. I just both races couldn't get off the gate. I was like, I was like 7th at the first race, and then even the second race wasn't much better. And it was only because I was able to, get through the first turn okay. Because I would have come out worse than that if I hadn't been able to do some magic in the first turn.
Right.
So that was definitely, and two, it was like coming from the 2 years before that, hole shotting at least one of the races of the night. If I didn't hole shot the heat, I hole shot the main. If I didn't I was always like top 3. That's why I did so good in 19 and 20, because I was a good starter, and then I would either make passes right away or be able to get away in the first few laps. So that was why, and that just was not there last year. And we made that change this year, and I feel like we got a pretty solid package right now.
Good to hear.
Yeah, so the pro circuit team, it's been on a little bit of a drought compared to what we've seen in the past, and the West Coast hasn't really gone as planned, and it kind of gives this narrative where it sets you up, where you can kind of come in and kind of be the hero for that team. Do you think of it like that at all, or kind of how do you feel with the team pressure? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what this year, for some reason, and I'm sure it's gonna change whenever obviously we get to the races and stuff. But to be honest, like to be kind of like, this is probably most likely my last year on 250s. If things go well, then it's definitely then I'm going to point out either way. So my last year on 250s, like kind of my last year to make something, to get a championship or to make that happen, like just for kind of all of those things, I don't feel much pressure. Like I'm not really feeling I don't know. I felt like last year about this time, the week leading up, I started to feel like some pressure, and so, like already started to get, the nerves and stuff. Like right now, I don't feel any of that. Like I maybe that'll change at the first race. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to be nervous at the first race, obviously, but I mean, it just, right now, I don't really feel any of that. I don't feel like the whole, they asked me at the press conference, this is my make it or break it year type of thing.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. I'm like, I don't feel like that. Like, I mean, it is.
It's probably good.
Aware of it. I'm aware that it is, and I'm aware that, I need to win I've needed to win a championship the past 3 years. Other than my rookie season, I feel like I've been in a pretty solid position to win a championship every year. So it's every year that I didn't since then has been a disappointment. So it's kind of like, And I just feel too like I've kind of, especially last outdoor season, like that was the first year that I just got my ass beat. Really, like I am a winning guy until I get hurt. That's kind of been that's kind of been what I've been one of, if not the fastest guy until I've gotten hurt, and I've kind of taken myself out or missed races or whatever in that way. Where it hasn't been just I haven't been the best guy. Like I've just been straight up getting beat. And that was not by one guy, where it was, it was maybe for Randez or maybe for it was Osborne that one year or whatever. It was guys like that where it was kind of like me versus them, but I was still a top two. I was still, if I wasn't winning, I was second or third.
Right.
It was outside the top 5, outside the top 10 sometimes, like this season. So it was
rough.
It was just rough, and that's what maybe that has helped a little bit too. But I really don't feel much pressure. I don't want to say that things can't get worse, because obviously they can always get worse. Sure. But I mean, I've had bad injuries, like really bad injuries. I've blown one for sure. Possibly I had a shot at even 2. So blown 1 or 2 championships in, kind of catastrophic ways. I've been out for the rest of the season. Both times I've done that. So I've missed a lot of racing. And then last year I just straight up got beat. So race after race after race. So, I feel like I've kind of seen kind of the worst sides of things in a way. So that's why I don't feel like I'm just kind of like, I'm like, I'm just excited to race, really.
That's good.
I don't
like
think I haven't been like that for a few years now, at least, because I've kind of let some of the pressure things not get to me. Just I don't know. I don't really know. Like I haven't really made like a change this year. Like there's no big change that I've made this year. This off season hasn't been crazy good. I'm coming in with so much more fitness, so much more speed, so much more comfortability on nothing is that much better, or if any, than previous years.
Okay.
I just feel everything just feels good. I just feel solid, and I don't know, maybe it's just
might
been
be some
kind
maturity,
of a low,
man. Might be a little bit of maturity.
I mean,
yeah.
I just kind of feel like that too, and just that I've had a pretty low key off season, pretty just chill, and I'm actually excited to go race.
I like hearing that, man. Looking back on the outdoors, do you have any thoughts, any answers to like, okay, maybe it was this, or was it just you just never figured out what the issue was?
No, I mean, I don't know. It was probably a little bit that I just wasn't the fastest guy, just in general. Okay. I haven't raced outdoors in a few years. Maybe I just wasn't the fastest guy, but me not being the fastest guy means I'm the 3rd fastest guy, or at worst the 5th fastest guy. Well, I wasn't even that. So, and I don't think that was just like certain races I was. There were certain races like Ironman I rode really good, and I think I got top 5 both motos, and I started outside of the top 10, and so I was able to work my way. Like I had good rides in there for sure. But just I don't really know. I just was off. I was thinking about too much, or I don't really know. I was thinking about stuff and dealing with some just maybe little nagging injuries that I don't know.
Yeah.
A number of things probably.
Okay.
Mostly mental things, I think, that I was just kind of dealing with and trying to work through, and just wasn't really making a lot of I wasn't having a lot of success at working through those things. And that's what, to be honest, I was just like, dude, I just need to check out from dirt bikes for a few weeks in the off season. And that's what I did. And the first day I came back, literally the first day I came back riding, Rob was like, dude, you're ripping. He's like, I haven't seen this aggression from you like since Supercross of last year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. Like, it's my first day back riding after 3 weeks. I was like, I was just doing laps. And he was like, you look really good. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, that's what I said.
Yeah, it's
anybody
also
that talked to me, anybody that talked to me before at the end of outdoors, it was like, what are you going to do to try to, not do that this year? And I was like, dude, I don't know. All I know is I want to take weeks off and do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
And not do anything that has to do with dirt bikes. If I come back and those problems are still there, then I'll try to figure it out. And guess what? I came back, none of those problems existed. So I was like, all right, like, I'm good.
Nice honesty. I want to ask you this, man. When you see a guy like Chase Sexton, who came through the 250s pretty quickly, had success, goes to the 450s, wins a race, does that eat at you at all, or is it like so outside of your peripheral, like you're not? It doesn't matter what other people do, and you got to worry about what you're doing?
No, I mean, like that's. I don't know. I haven't really thought into that a lot, I guess. I mean, obviously, that's like we kind of came up riding together, and things have. He's done. It's just like less injuries than me, Like I feel like we've been close all of our careers and speed and everything wise, and he's just kind of capitalized on me. He capitalized definitely that year on me being hurt, and then the next year we obviously didn't race, but he was a top guy that year too, and he's went on, and that's just where he is right now. So I can't. It's hard to. Say that, if I hadn't got hurt, I'd be right there with it. It's hard to really say that because, I don't know. But, it's just hard to say, But I don't really, I guess, do I regret getting hurt and all that stuff? Like, yeah, I obviously regret all that stuff. But I've learned a lot of things. And yeah, I missed out on a lot of bonus money, a lot of championship money, a lot of stuff like that from it that obviously I wish I could have gotten. But, it is what it is. I now looking back, other than the aches and pains that I wake up with in the morning, I don't really regret anything like as far as how things turned out, other than just, the injuries. They did suck. But even from that, I've learned stuff from that, and I've kind of grown from that and stuff. So I probably wouldn't really change anything. And that's what it's hard to say where I would be if I hadn't got hurt, or where, it's hard to say because things didn't work out like that. So that's, there's not really, I don't really waste time thinking about that stuff because it's done. It's over. No change in it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Everybody has their own path, But okay. So going into this season, we were kind of talking about at the beginning of the show about how competitive this East Coast is going to be.
It looks good.
It looks. Yeah, we're after what we've seen in the West Coast, we're looking forward to. But anyway, so which one of your strengths do you think will benefit you the most in this competitive field?
Speed.
Yeah, I think just if I get out front, I'm gonna stay out front, and whether that's, I'm gonna stay up front. Let's just say that. Like and that's what. And if I don't start up front, I feel like even last year we had a pretty stacked class at the beginning of the season, and I was able to come through in the first couple races and come from 6th to 2nd or 7th or whatever. So, I just feel like I can do that. I feel like at the races when I got to make something happen, I got to make passes. I got to find that little extra speed or that little extra whatever. I feel like I can find that. And I don't know why. I'm not every day. I'm not the fastest guy at the test track. I'm not the fastest guy doing the biggest rhythms and stuff, but I just sometimes, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I can just find that little extra speed or a little extra that I need at the races, and I don't know why. I've never been, I guess, the greatest practicer. I've always been a little bit more of a racer, but sometimes I can just find that a little bit extra. So,
okay, I like it. We had a listener, one of our buddies over in Australia, wants to know how was it losing Ollie? He's a big part of your program for a long time. Good dude, really smart. How was that?
Yeah, it was definitely paid to see him go, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a good, solid couple of years, and the last, we just kind of were talking at Hangtown and stuff, and he was like, or really kind of even before that, he was like, dude, like kind of when he was letting me know that he was gonna do something else, he was kind of like, dude, we've accomplished a lot together, and he was like, I don't think there's any thing to be upset about or be whatever. Like we've accomplished a lot together, and yeah, we didn't win that championship, we didn't do that, but look, we've won a lot of races together, and we've had good times. So that's kind of how I left it, and I was like, all right, man, like I knew obviously, like wanted, and we kind of planned on staying together a little longer, but it is what it is. It wasn't, I didn't get too hung up on it, and it's kind of just is what it is. It happened, and we both kind of just moved on. And obviously that it sucks because, and I've never had a different mechanic as far as race mechanic. So it was kind of a little adapting time, but my new mechanic, Tony's been really cool to, he's really laid back like me. So it's been a really, really just kind of seamlessly, adjustment kind of, it hasn't been, he's kind of a lot like me where he kind of just rolls with things. Just, you got a new mechanic. Okay. We're not going to have this super awkward, weird introduction thing. He's not going to say, oh, so what things do you want me to write on the pit board? What, right. He just figures it out.
Okay.
He just
cool.
does. I've been, he's been working with me, and we've been like working together every day or whatever, like him being my mechanic all at the track and stuff. And he has figured out what
works?
When I'm, right. Yeah. Just figured out my style, figured out with telling me certain things on the board or what works, what doesn't. Yeah. Just, figuring out rider and mechanic stuff, just, and it has been pretty seamlessly, pretty easy. I know, I thought it, I guess I didn't really know what to expect about it. I was hoping it wouldn't be, some awkward kind of like shift or whatever, but It's been really easy, and it really, he's laid back and I'm laid back. And so it's pretty, that's kind of, it's just been a low key off season, we just kind of, it's just been easy, kind of pressure free, kind of just, kind of where I thought it might be a little bit more, there might be a little something there that was a little bit of a hurdle, like a little bit, but it's been, pretty easy.
That's probably a good thing. We got 2 more for you, Austin.
All right, so we had a listener want to know what was the V-Day schedule like for the Forkners.
It was Riley was gone part of the morning, and then she came back. She was she went to her family's for like a day, she had to go do something, take a car back or something like that. So she went there, and she came back like midday. I was riding all morning anyway, so it was fine. I went and stopped by, got her some flowers, got her some chocolates, did all that. And she came back, and we ate the chocolates, and she enjoyed the flowers, I guess. We did whatever girls do with flowers. I don't know. I still question why I get you something, and then they die within 3 days, and then that's it. And it makes you just the happiest in the world. I don't know. I don't care. That's
as long as she's happy.
I guess, Yeah. So and then we just we chilled, watched some TV that there were a few new episodes that came out over this weekend of some shows we're watching. So we caught up on those, and then we went out and got some went out to this really good hibachi place last night. Yeah. And where they cook in front of you and stuff. So it was really good. So,
man. I think it's kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good. That's pretty much it.
Okay. I just think it's kind of funny how we have to have a day where we have to. I love you on this day. I love my girlfriend every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to.
The Kiefers are very adamant that Valentine's is dumb and the Hallmark.
I know. I had to look up what Valentine's Day actually meant, like what it was a celebration of, or what it was. And I guess it's a celebration of love, but it always seems like it's the guys celebrating the girls more. I mean, does it not? It seems like it's the guys getting the girls flowers, and if you go to wherever you're going to get Valentine's Day stuff, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of stuff for guys.
Right.
Mostly flowers and chocolate and stuff like that. Oh, there's a card. There's a really, really small card section for the guys next to the massive card selection for the girls.
It's definitely geared for the ladies.
Yeah, definitely. But they're the ones. They're also the ones that care about stuff like that. I feel like most guys are like, oh, they're celebrating. Like, okay, just like you just said. I love you yesterday. I love you today. Like I'm gonna love you tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not really any different. That's just how
it's strange. So you make me feel like Riley didn't get you anything good. Did she get you a gift?
Not really. No, it was just
on,
you know
Riley.
what my gift was? My gift was being able to spend all day with her. That was my gift.
Okay. I like it.
I mean,
that's not a bad.
I don't need anything because I know that she loves me.
Sure.
You know,
it's not a bad prize.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you don't need to get me anything. I know you like flowers, and we'll do that, and we'll watch movies, and we'll go out and eat, and that's a great Valentine's Day in my book. That's a great Valentine's Day. So
I dig it, Austin. Well, man, I will be at Minneapolis, so I look forward to seeing you. Like I just told Shane McElrath, I might come see you depending on what the temperature is outside.
Yeah, we might be pitted inside anyway. I mean, last year, the last year I was there was 19, and it was really bad then, and we were pitted. We ended up. Our truck and stuff was actually outside. Like everything was outside. I think I got dressed and everything outside in the truck, but we didn't go back there between between anything. Like I think even between the heat and the main, we just stayed inside. Like we just stayed we had a tiny little pit set up, and everybody just stayed in there because it was just hazardous to go outside. So I don't know if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be that bad this year, because that year it was pretty, like it was almost blizzarding. So it was pretty bad, but yeah, I don't know. Obviously, yeah, we'll just have to see. I don't know how much I'll be out and about either.
Be my first time up to Minneapolis. So I've been to Millville. That's about as far up that way I've been, but look forward to seeing you, man. Yeah,
same. I'm looking forward to getting to racing. I'm looking forward to Dallas and St. Louis. Those are my I mean, Dallas is kind of like the closest thing to my new home in Oklahoma City. And St. Louis is my closest to my old home, and probably the race they'll have the most people at. There's quite a bit at Dallas too, but as far as like the closest race to like where my family and everything is St. Louis. So most of them will be there. And both of those places also have good dirt. So
absolutely. Too. All right, dude. Well, we'll see you this weekend. Thanks for having some time for us, man.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks, guys.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
All right, see ya.
All right, thanks to Austin Forkner coming on. Appreciate Works Connection and Torque One Racing, man. If you guys are looking for some handlebars, grips, like the Defy lock-on grips and the regular, they have the glue-on grips too, Vengeance levers, and the Attack handlebars, Torque One Racing is your place. Check them out, man, torque1racing.com. It might be a handlebar that you haven't tried, but go visit them on Instagram, Facebook. Let them know we sent you. Great products, Texas-based company, and a long-time supporter of our show. So it's important that you guys go support them for us. We'll take another commercial break, and we're going to be back with the Seven Deuce Deuce. We're back, and next up, brought to you by Racetech. He is the Racetech Privateer Spotlight. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Racetech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed and made right here in the USA. So visit racetech.com for more info and use promo code MotoXPod to save. Tonight, Racetech brings us the one and only Seven Deuce Deuce, Adam Enticknap. What up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing good, man. It's been a little while since we've had you on here. Dude, I know it's tough being a professional racer and, struggling to make mains, and you finally made your first main. Sure, you're not happy with the beginning of your season, but it's got to feel good to get one in, and they say they usually start coming easier.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't happy with the beginning of my season, that's for sure. I had a couple little mishaps at the beginning of the season with the crash at A1, and then I just been suffering from bad starts. So, it's definitely not how we wanted to start out, but it seems to be going in the right direction, so I'm stoked.
Rib issues, right? You've had some rib issues?
Yeah, definitely had some rib issues, and I just after that crash at A1, and then that collision that I had with Brees, that didn't make it any better, and just kind of trying to make my way forward and get better every weekend.
Yeah, so as you go on in your career, you've been doing this a long time. Fans love you. Obviously you're a big attraction in the pits. A lot of that thanks to Steve Mathis. Is it easy to still stay motivated to go racing, or as you get older and you're a dad now, like, are you at all looking at like, maybe I want to start winding this down and doing something different?
It's just, that's a hard question, just because there's so many ups and downs, as far as like getting hurt last year and just trying to get remotivated, and after, all the crashes, and then, I did get COVID in December. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like motivation to race, because there's always motivation to race, but it definitely, makes it harder at certain points, through injury or through sickness, or, just that daily grind to kind of make sure you're putting in your full A effort every single day. But man, it sure does help to be healthy and being able to go to the track consistently during the week and, seeing improvement and seeing all that stuff go on. So that always makes it easier. I love racing. I mean, Darkside, that. So
yeah.
I don't really see anything in the future other than next weekend in Minneapolis. And I just want to keep racing my dirt bike to the best of my ability. And man, after this weekend, it's just so much motivation to get better, and I'm feeling a lot better. And I'm seeing improvement. So I'm just ready to put my head down and really try to finish out this season better than I ever have. So obviously it wasn't the start that I was looking for. But we're only at round 6. And if I can turn this around, everybody will just remember, Adam Enticknap had a little bit of struggling with his ribs, but finished out his season the best he's done. And he really turned it up. So That's the plan as of right now. And just trying to hammer down and get better each and every day.
Awesome.
Yeah, so kind of going off of that, and you're obviously the personality guy, and then they use you in the sport to do all kinds of things, and I think that's awesome. Who do you kind of see as being that guy taking over that role when you decide you are done?
No one. Nobody.
Yeah, I know nobody's been the same, but I mean they're going to obviously use somebody.
Yeah, nobody will ever be like
one and
Adam.
only.
I mean, to be totally honest, like I really don't know. That's a really hard question because, in the past before me, I don't think there was very many privateers that they ever used like on the Jumbotron as much as they use me, for opening ceremonies, for all that stuff. I definitely started my own lane and did my own thing. And, I mean, as crazy as it seems, I'm probably, I don't know. I mean, it's whatever way you want to take it, but I'm definitely the biggest guy that I've known of that has, the worst results. I don't know how to put that nicely, but I mean, obviously I'm trying to get better and better every week, but I've definitely done very, very well for myself. And, I'm proud of that.
Yeah. I've talked to Dustin about that before. Dustin Pipes, team owner at HEP. And he's talked about yeah, there's probably guys he could go hire that maybe will get better results than you. But when it comes to sponsors, fan interaction, which is super, super important to sponsors and teams, there's very few people that bring what you bring. And no matter what your results are, no matter, I've never seen you outwardly be in a bad mood, maybe up in the truck for a few minutes. But when you're out in the pits and the fans are around, dude, you give everybody the time and the energy that people know you as. And that says a lot. And that's why a team like Dustin or HEP wants you on their team.
Yeah. And, I always pride myself on making sure that I'm not pissed off in front of the fans. You know what I mean? Like, obviously in the truck, I've, been pretty pissed a couple times, especially when the day's not going the best. But I always try to, put my best face forward for the fans because, every single one of those people would only dream to be in the position that I'm in. And, you got to be happy with what you got, even though, today might not be the best day. But something I do pride myself on that you just touched on a little bit is what we in the industry call ROI. And I think it's return on investment.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I pride myself on too is, like, I might not be winning, but I'm definitely promoting the product in the right way and trying to do my best at selling the product. And I think I do it very, very well.
I agree.
Okay, so I thought of this question before I heard about the LCQ Privateer Challenge, that the race they're doing at the end of the year.
Do you know the details of this that Steve's doing this year?
Bro, I heard something from Tyler, and I was like, that's going to be insane.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go ahead, Scotty.
Well, separate of that, do you think that they're, we were talking about this earlier in the show, that I think the LCQs have been some of the most entertaining races this season. There's kind of like your own little group, have y'all's own little championship within it. Do you think that there should be more of a reward for those LCQ things, or do you think that kind of like muddles up that line in the heat race where now all of a sudden guys maybe want to go to the LCQ? How do you kind of feel about that?
I don't think anybody ever wants to go to the LCQ. I don't care how much money you put into the LCQ. It's a terrible place to be. What Steve Mathis has been doing with that LCQ challenge, I think, is absolutely amazing for the privateer people. But dude, the LCQ sucks because it's just such a big gamble. You know, it's like everybody's going for the neck. You know what I mean? Nobody's taking any other shot but straight for anything above the neck. You know what I mean? It's headshot city. So the LCQ, man, it's really tough because all those guys on that line are very, very good, and they can take you out, you know, even if they're slower. You know, if they get the opportunity, you can dive across that 180-degree corner and put somebody down on the ground. So that's what makes that LCQ so difficult to be consistent in. You just got to get good starts, and you got to handle your own and just try to stay calm like I did this weekend and stay out of the carnage. You know,
Right.
It's just there's so many different things happening at once, and it's such a short race. It's recipe for chaos.
Absolutely. All right, so let me update you as best I can from after listening to Pulp last night. I haven't listened back and put my notes together for the wrap-up yet, but Feld is giving Steve his own race at Denver on Friday. So I think it's a day schedule, and if I understood right, some of the heat races or maybe there's a qualifying or something on Friday.
After.
You know what? Somebody was telling me about that.
Yeah.
I think there's in Denver. I think we practice on Friday.
Yes. So after that, there is going to be a race, some kind of LCQ race that, and there, depending on where you guys are on points, I think it's after I don't know. I don't remember.
Same thing he's always done.
It's a little different, but he's got his own Steve Mathis race. He's going to be able to have some like wild cards that he can pick. Like he could say, Vince Freeze, you're coming in. And all the money is going into that one race, and it's going to be divided up however they decide, whether it's 5 positions, 7 positions. But yeah, it's going to be gnarly because it's like to me, like in my mind, I'm thinking like demolition derby, whoever survives.
Survival, yeah.
And it could be crazy, dude. Like but the fact that Feld that just shows how far Steve has come. Like they used to not even really acknowledge him, and now Feld has given him his own race.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I can't believe Feld would actually do that, that's a big step up.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're really going to race, if there's 30, 40 grand on the line, I mean, you want to talk about slitting throats.
Yeah.
Just imagine, bro. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like people are going to be. I don't know. That's going to be a little gnarly.
Yeah.
How many times, ballpark, how many times more is that prize than the average, bonus that you'd get from making the main?
Yeah. What's last place in the main?
It's so much more. It's like $2,200.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
A couple grand. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with sponsors and stuff too.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Well, with sponsors, it's more than that, but it's not 30 grand.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it's hard to say. I think last year he raced something like 70 grand total, and they divide that up. So, and this year, that's always at the end of the season. So this year it's going to be a little earlier than the end of the season. So they won't raise this. Who knows how much money it's going to be? But
bro, when you got 20 privateers going for 20 grand for first, you know what it's going to be like?
Yeah, scary.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
I guess Steve has a race on Friday after our qualifiers for the Yamaha. For the Yamaha, how he does that Yamaha private, the LCQ challenge. He's got, and we're gonna race for it. It's 20 people, whoever are in the top 20 or something like that, are gonna race for it on the track on Friday. That's gonna be some. There's just bring the gravestones.
Yeah, he was talking about I'll bring Vince Freeze in, and he's not even in the race. He's just out on the track, and maybe he'll cut the track, and that's just Steve talking, obviously.
Gosh.
But it's
So if you're in that race, who is the last person that you want to line up next to?
Vince Freeze. But I said
the last person I want to line up next to in that race is probably Ryan Breeze.
See, I told
because
Steve.
I'll tell you what. I will tell you this right now.
Yeah.
if somebody were to take me out in that race, and I don't care who it was, I'm stopping a lap and taking them out. Because if they're going to take me out for if they're taking me out for $20,000, do you think I'm going to let them slide on that?
I didn't even think about that. Like people just stop and then just.
See, that's why I told Steve like a month ago.
It's so much money, bro.
Yeah.
It's so much money. Like, bro, if you take somebody out like that, there's going to be gnarly retaliation.
Yep. I told Steve like a month ago when he was first trying to figure out how he wanted to do it this year. It's like, what you should do is like, here's the purse, here's whatever. We're breaking it up this way, but maybe you don't tell them, like maybe first doesn't get the amount of money, like the biggest amount. Maybe eighth gets the money. You know, you don't know until the race is over, and then you say, okay, this is what we decided. So you actually have to go out and race because you have no idea what pays what until it's over. That way.
I mean, I'll tell you this, first has to get the most amount of money. I mean, that's just not right if you don't get first the most amount. Maybe give fourth. Maybe give fourth more than somebody else.
Yeah.
But if you're first, has to get the most.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't know that. I'll have to go back. Like I said, I've got to put all my notes together for the wrap up tonight, and I'll go back through Pulp and get all the details exactly how he said it because they talked about it for a while last night. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's making me rethink not coming to Denver.
Yeah, are you not going to Denver?
I wasn't planning on it because the budget has gotten tight and flights were really expensive. But
you're going to have to figure out the budget, dude.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to reschedule Denver. I might bail on one of the other ones, but that's going to be yeah. Well, anyway, so I'm glad I could open your eyes to what Steve's planning. It's definitely right up his alley.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Good for Steve. That's amazing.
Well, all right, man. So the bike, the team, how's the Suzuki, man? We know you've been on the Suzuki for a while. We hear the negativity towards the Suzuki, but like as for a guy like myself, all those bikes are way beyond anything I have any ability to ride to their full potential. That bike seems to get better every year. For you.
I mean, dude, the nice thing, and like, you know, we were talking about it. One of my buddies and I, you know, every year those guys get new bikes, and I feel like the evolution of our dirt bikes has gotten so good in the past like 3 or 4 years that all the dirt bikes are so close, and now it's more about tailoring it to, you know, your specific needs. You know, and like as you're saying, you know, the KTM guys are struggling. Kenny's definitely struggling with his bike setup. You know, we've been on the same bike for a long time, and you know, Clark Jones has gotten us dialed in on the suspension and the chassis and the whole 9 yards, and we got our bike working really good. I mean, as you guys seen in the LCQ, you know, going through the whoops, my bike wasn't doing anything funky at all. It wasn't doing anything weird, you know, and I feel like I got an amazing bike setup, and that's just a testament to being able to work with the team and work with the bike each and every year and not having to switch too much up and just knowing that thing like the back of my hand.
Absolutely. I love it, man. Yeah, it's good seeing you get that consistency and that, you know, just I'm glad that you're still there, man.
Yep, straight up. Me too.
Yeah. All right, so we had a listener that wanted you to talk about your collab with Daniel Blair, Vincent Blair, the main event moto guys. They said you're doing a collab or something with it.
I think we joked about that. I don't think that's real.
It's not a real thing?
No, that actually is real, to be honest.
Okay.
Vincent texted me and wanted to do something, so I'm kind of waiting on him right now. I think he's supposed to send over some like a little instrumental or whatever, and then kind of a rough idea. That's pretty long ways out, though. You know, like that music takes a lot of time, and it just depends. You know, sometimes it comes together overnight, and then sometimes it comes together over a few months. So, you know, there is something in the works, but I wouldn't look for it very soon.
Okay.
You know, at least I'd say probably by the end of the season, hopefully, you know, we'll have something together to where we got a good rough draft, and then we can start finishing it.
I love Vincent, man. He's my favorite Blair.
Yeah, no, Vincent's cool. I love both of the guys.
Yeah.
You know, they both are two totally different people, kind of like me and Tyler.
Right.
So it's I can relate.
Yeah. So changing subjects, I talked to you a little bit about this at Glendale, but let's revisit it, man. What's the best part of being a daddy?
Oh, dude, you know what? I think dude, I think the best part of being a dad is just remembering that each moment does count, so it's just each moment is so important. You don't realize it. You're going through all the motions. And I know we talked about this, but it's just crazy how you get in this routine of life, and I'm like, oh, yeah, just go to Supercross, go every weekend. I got to do my thing. I'm trying to get better. And you kind of just get in this routine where it's almost, life becomes a blur and you don't realize, how awesome life is and how important each and every moment is to what your future holds. And, having him is just, it's crazy how much it opens your eyes to like, this is, little Adam's first time at the dirt bike track.
Yeah.
And how important that is. And this last weekend in Anaheim was his first weekend watching his dad race a Supercross race. Like first weekend being at a Supercross for the whole event and just, realizing that all those moments with him are so important and all those moments are so memorable. And I'm probably going to, remember him more than he will, but it's just crazy how awesome it is and how much, it changes your life to have that little guy, right next to you.
Dude, I'm so happy for you and Ash Money. It's so badass.
It's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad he's healthy. That was the most important thing.
Right.
Just super happy that we got a nice, healthy baby and just try to do the best we can,
Yeah. How old is he now?
He is 2 months old.
2 months. Whew. Yeah, my granddaughter is about to be a year old, man, in 1 more month, and
oh my god,
so fun, dude. It's just you know, I love my kid, I love my stepkids, and then you have a granddaughter, and it's like, yeah, dude, my kid, go away. Yeah, it's all about my granddaughter now, and yeah, she. I had her Super Bowl Sunday. Didn't really care that I was missing the game that much. I love football, but I was like, yeah, don't care. Gonna give her a bath, and she pooped in the tub, and I didn't really care. Just scooped it up.
Straight up, huh?
Yep, just scooped it up, threw it in the toilet. It's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that for anybody else, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Straight up, huh? That's a game changer too. It's like,
Yeah.
before I had little Adam, it's like, you're like kind of almost a little scared to hold anybody's kid, or
Sure.
you're like, oh, changing the diaper is so gross. Dude, after I had him, bro, I'm like just getting in there like swimwear and just handling it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's your own kid. You don't even care. You just want to clean them up and get them ready to go.
Yeah.
And just dial it in and get it, like I'm trying to get my diapers done as fast as I can and see, you know what I mean? It's
Sure,
it's
yeah.
funny how much it changes your perspective.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's definitely life changing. I had my son at I was 22, so I was pretty young, but it definitely it changes things for sure, man. And I am really happy for you guys. So congratulations. And Adam, it's always a pleasure to have time to talk to you and visit with you. You're just one of the best dudes.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it. Same to you, Dark Side. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I always enjoy giving a little chit chat, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the rest of this season. I think it's going to be really good.
Awesome, man. Adam, thank you. Tell Ash Money I said what's up, and hope to see her at one of the races soon. And what you got one more, Scotty?
Hey, how much does Twisted Tea hook you up? You got a fridge full?
I mean, dude, just I don't even know how to say. I don't even know how to explain that. Dude, Twisted Tea is so awesome. Bro, if we need Twisted Tea, it's not even an issue. You know what I mean? It's just they're such a great company. I feel like Twisted Tea is those type of people that are just so down to earth and so cool. You can just hit up Billy or hit up whoever or hit up Dustin, be like, yo, can we get some Twisted Tea, this flavor, yada, yada. Oh, they're like, no problem, sweet. Keep it twisted. And just dialed in. You know what I mean? It's no problem at all. They're a great company.
Awesome.
I think the sport's starving for more sponsors like that.
Yeah.
I think it's so good.
Well, it's just hard. I don't think there is very many sponsors like Twisted Tea. I think they are right in our realm. I think Twisted Tea almost were meant to be motocross people. You know what I mean? Twisted Tea is such a perfect sponsor for dirt bikes because, they love to have fun. Obviously, they want you to drink responsibly, but, Twisted Tea is always about, and so, bro, we're about having fun, hanging out with your friends, and having a good time. You know what I mean? And you can totally tell that that's what that company is and all the people around it. And you can tell that's how it's ran. And it's just so amazing. It's like, bro, I just don't know very many sponsors that are like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome to have him aboard. All right, Adam, we're going to let you go, man. We'll see you this weekend, okay?
Cool. That sounds great. See you in Mini.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Peace.
All right, thanks to Adam Enticknap for coming on. We had mentioned at the beginning of the show that Daniel was going to be post, but Daniel's ready, so we can get into it. If you guys want to stick around on YouTube, we're about to call Daniel Blair, so we'll take a quick pause for a break, and we're back with Daniel Blair. Here we go. All right, next up, we have a special guest. I thought he was going to be coming on a little later, but he made it. I guess he got done with the press conference, Scotty. But tonight, he's brought to you by Cherubies USA. For decades, the Cherubies USA has been the leader in moto plastic and accessories. They are the title sponsor of the Moto X Pod show. So visit CherubiesUSA.com and support our title sponsor. Tonight, at Cherubies USA, Talon Volan, Brian Fullerton bring us Daniel Blair. What's up, DB?
I'm so pumped to be brought to you by Lone Wolf.
He's the man, right?
He is the man, and I'm pumped for Saturday, dude. It's Baby Wolf time. I'm
Maximus.
Pumped. Maximus, dude. I've been watching him since he was on a 50.
It's the raddest name ever.
And well, last year was cool too because he was a rookie, and it was just cool to see him out there with the big dogs. But I think the expectations are a little different this year, and he's become, not just that little 50 kid from NorCal, but he's like legit now. And so I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I was on that press conference that you just did for just a couple minutes before I had to start this thing, and looking at that lineup, I was like, oh, wow, I forgot how good the East is looking. I don't honestly, Daniel, have Max as a title contender, but I would love to be pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm with you, of course. I mean, as much as I love Max and I would love to see him win round one and win a title, let's be honest, there's some guys in that class that are chiseled and ready to fight for a title, and he's still early. He didn't even get to finish his rookie year last year. So the good thing is he's got good people around him, obviously his dad, and Jacob Hayes has been heavily involved with him this year, and they're just keeping his head on straight and letting him know it's all about 15+1. Just go grind, and you never know where you're going to be. Maybe he gets third this weekend, maybe he gets eighth, but I don't think it matters really. He's still again, he would be on the second half of his first year right now. So I think the best thing for him was the way his career started with a 3-year contract with KTM, which means year one was literally just learn.
Yep.
Year two is, hey, let's get more competitive. And then year three, let's go for dubs. So I love the way they've approached everything. And I can't wait to see him out there rocking a low number. He's in the 30s now. He's going to be looking sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me a new number plate for the studio.
That's right. Well, with the Cherubies as your sponsor, I don't think that should be a problem.
Right. Well, I want to race. I want one coming off the bike, though.
I mean, you got connections, bro.
That is true. That is true.
Call up the Wolf and get Baby Wolf's number plate.
Absolutely. I want to ask you something real quick. So we were talking at the beginning of the show about the guys in this 250 East. To me, the top 5 contenders are Jet Lawrence, Austin Forkner, McAdoo, RJ Hampshire, and J Mart. Who are your top 3 for the title of those top 5?
Oh, man. I thought you were going to send me a law, but I was going to go, yeah, I agree, because those would be my 5, too.
Right. Yeah, that's too easy.
It's hard. I think you've got to be super, tight with someone to move them into the 5 and take someone out, because I think that's just standard. You know what I mean? Like McAdoo, Hampshire, those would be probably, for me, I'd say 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I would probably go with Jet, Forkner, and Martin. But I mean, interchangeable. McAdoo was so good last year. RJ has been good for a couple years. So if one of them come out and win or get second, I'm not shocked. But if I'm trying to build my own little power ranking, I'd probably go Jet, Austin, and J Mart in the top 3, and put RJ and McAdoo right behind him. But then I got a little suspicion that Levi Kitchen's gonna I think Levi Kitchen's going to be a little bit better than people think. I think
forgot about Levi.
You should have seen Darkside's face.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God dang.
Well, I mean, that's what's cool about the East right now is oh, yeah. And that's what's cool. There's so many of them. But, I think there's something there with him that's going to break through pretty early. That's just a gut feeling and things I've heard. So I'm going to say Levi Kitchen. Look out.
Can't wait for this weekend. Go ahead, Scotty.
Mine's moving to the 450s, but so I feel like we kind of saw Tomac kind of like just kind of keep his pace. I feel like he's more of an East Coast football stadium guy, and I feel like Anderson has been kind of that tighter baseball stadium kind of guy. Do you think Anderson can kind of keep this momentum and closing the gap, moving to these East Coast rounds, or do you feel like it's Tomac's time and it's just going to be like hold on,
I like where you're going with that, because I think I agree with you pretty much dead on. Like, Anderson's a champion. I think he's good everywhere. But if we're being completely honest, like, he would be at his very best on the West. So I think we've seen him just tap out like his skill set, which is be the fastest guy multiple times, win multiple heats, win multiple mains. Now the challenge, I think, gets a little harder for Jason. Does that mean he can't? No, I mean, he's Jason Anderson. So I think he's going to be good. But to your point, yes, the West, I think, would suit him a little bit more. So maybe the challenge gets a little steeper from here on out. But the effort he's putting in, and this is not just visual. I mean, I talked to Brock Tickle last week for about a half hour, and I've never heard anybody that is still like a racer be so high on another racer that's still like in their realm, because age-wise, they wouldn't be that far apart.
Yeah.
Tickle, what you would think would still have pride in himself, which he does. He should. But dude, the way he spoke about Anderson, it's got me fired up for the whole year, because the attention to detail is off the charts. So if you're thinking he's going to go to the East Coast and fall apart, I don't see that. But the challenge will be more, because he is so damn elite on that dry West Coast stuff. So, that's why we watch, right? Like, I can't wait to see what happens here. It's going to be good. And yes, Eli is, he's the standard right now, and everyone's chasing, but there's guys that can get him. I truly think so, but it'll be tough.
Yeah, I think it's on. I'm excited.
If I'm being honest, the last few weeks, there's only one reason I've been watching, not for the racing, but that guy in the booth that's so damn good, Ricky Carmichael.
Hey, when you were saying that, I was thinking, like, what pervy angle are you, like, is there like a certain monster girl that was working or something?
Oh, well, Kristen Beat's been killing it too. My girl Kristen.
Okay. I didn't know you were going that angle, but I agree with you. Ricky he's the reason why I watch back every Monday when I take notes, because my guy RC.
To see what you missed.
Yep.
So, you got one more week, right, in the booth. How do you feel about your performances so far, and how are you going to elevate your game even more this week?
I'm happy. I'm very happy. And Dark Side, you know me. We know each other very well. You know how critical I am. I'm very unsatisfied all the time, no matter what.
He calls me in tears, Scotty, Saturday nights after the press conference. He calls me just crying. It was so bad.
Well, you text me and you gave me a B+ performance, and I just had to know why. And I had to know why, not because I disagreed, but because I thought it was a little rich. I thought we were talking B-, and I'm like, wait, B+. What I do?
I felt like I was being a little harsh.
Nah, I think if you ever give yourself a full A, like you just screwed yourself. So I'll, no matter how good or bad it goes, I always throw a B out. I'll just say a B, because then you get to work the next week. But no, I've had a good time, man. Most importantly, I'll start there. It's been a dream come true, and it's not even like a dream that I had where I want to be in the booth. That's not the dream. The dream for me was being involved in this sport. And I raced in Anaheim when I was 8 years old on a 50. And I've been obsessed with the sport ever since. I wanted to be a racer. I got to be a racer. And then that fear kicks in your 30s, where you're like, shit, man, what am I going to do next? Like, I don't like, am I going to get a job? Am I going to what am I going to do? And I don't want to leave the sport. And then now all of a sudden, to fast forward 7 years later from when I, hung it up, to be in that seat is like I said, it's not a dream that I dreamt, but I wanted something, and I can't believe I'm there of all places. You know what I mean? So just to be still involved in the sport and be involved at this level and in that position, grateful is a understatement, man. I can't even really describe how amazing these last 3 weeks have been for me, just on so many levels.
You deserve it, man. You know how I feel, but I've told you I'm biased. So, but I don't think it's unjust biased, if that makes sense.
Whatever, I'll take it. Whatever it is, I'll take it. Dark Side.
So how'd the press conference go tonight, man? We talked to Austin Forkner a minute ago. He had a pretty. I liked his response when I asked him how the press conference went, but how'd you think it went?
It was good. I mean, it's the 250 press conference. It's the start of a new season, which seems so weird. I'm sitting here on a Tuesday night, and actually, I'll fill you in behind the scenes. We skipped Valentine's Day because people go out, and it's like you can't get in anywhere. So tonight was our Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So
I work in a restaurant. It was nuts.
Oh, it was madness. So the whole family was in the master bedroom, like waiting for me to get done so we could go out to dinner, which we just did. But it just felt weird on a Tuesday night. We're already 6 rounds in, and now it's like, hey, so how do you feel coming into a season? It's so weird feeling to talk to these guys, and they're all antsy, and they're freaking out probably because they haven't raced yet. So it was cool to hear everybody kind of just talk about how they're feeling and their prep and all this stuff, which I find to be hilarious because for all of us, we're like, we're 6 weeks in. It feels weird because we're not on the same page as the riders.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're like, so what do I ask this guy coming into the season? Because we're all seasoned now, Yeah. So, but I liked it, and I liked everyone's mood. I mean, Phil Nicoletti became the star of the presser, which I thought was hilarious.
I wanted to stay because I knew he was going to be good, but every time they schedule these things, it's on a night I have a show.
Yeah, well, that's Sean Brennan. He's doing it to you on purpose.
On purpose.
But no, Phil ended up probably getting more questions than anybody.
Oh, that's
number
great.
one. And number two, he had the best one-liner ever. He told J-Mart to stay out of his way or he's going to turn that 6 into a G, which I thought was hilarious. And apparently they're all buddies now because they were all talking smack like, all smiley. And then Jet got in there at one point and threw some shade at Phil.
Oh, that's great.
I hit Jet with a right hook because I couldn't help myself. I kind of blew him out on his age a little bit, and anyone that watched it knows. But anyways, it was fun, dude. It was fun, and that list, man, that's a nasty list of riders. I mean, there was like 12 guys on there, and there were still 3 or 4 that I think are pretty legit that weren't even on the press conference.
Yeah.
So, and there's obviously levels to legitness. I mean, let's just say 4 riders maybe win a race at the end of this year, or maybe 3 to 4 will win a main. But it just feels like there's so many. So I think the battles for first will be good. The battle for 5th will be good. The battle for 10th will be good. So that's what you want. I think we're pretty deep, man.
Did anybody ask any of the riders if they were glad they didn't have to hit the whoops at A3?
It got brought up. I'm kind of on my phone at the same time because Sean's texting me like who's next, because I use one phone and then my other phone, the bat line, I'm actually talking to Sean on. So so I know it got brought up, and it might have been even Phil, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, it seems to be a pretty big topic of conversation right now. I mean, after that 250 main, I mean, dude, I felt like every 30 seconds, like someone was over the bars.
Phil was on Pulp last night, and he said, I'd like to take the people that build these whoops and duct tape their hand to the handlebars and make and hold the bike wide open, and see if they could get, make it through. So that's typical Phil, though.
Now, he was great. You know what's funny about Phil, and I mean, this show's turning into the Phil show, but it's deserved. Dude, he's super funny, and he's got some cutthroat one-liners.
Yeah.
But then if you actually listen to the way he talks about his own career and he walks you through he's a really intelligent person. And I think there's a misconception that he's just this grumpy dude. That's his demeanor, but Phil's super with it, super smart, and has had a great career for a long time. So he kind of gives you the whole package when you do an interview with him. Like, you're like, man, this dude's intelligent, but then he'll nail you with something.
Oh,
so
he's the best.
I mean, honestly, I hate to call it the rest of the field, but he was the best interview in it. That's why everyone kept going back to it.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I'll go back and watch it later. Yeah.
All right, Daniel. So, for your picture on our YouTube channel, I went to your Instagram and I found one where you're on a Honda 250F, and it looks like you're doing a Superman, but you're not in the air. And I just kind of wanted you to take us through that night and that moment.
Am I wearing all black gear on a Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually that was 2009. That was the year I rode for Geico, but that was before that happened. So I got ninth at the opening round, and then we went to Atlanta, and I was flying that day in practice. I think I was like 6th in times. And I ended up getting taken out in the heat race and had to go to the last chance call for it. I was bent, because I was riding better than that at that time.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know if you guys remember this happening, but there was this 32nd board girl who walked out with the board, put it up, turned it sideways and walked off, like no 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't remember
everyone jammed their bike into gear. I just put it in second, and the gate dropped. I ended up getting a second place start, passing the lead, come around, and they red flagged it. They ended it. And I'm like, dude, what the hell happened? Because Nico Izzy never left the gate. He just refused to leave the gate because the girl just turned the board.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's interesting. I don't remember that.
So anyways, they do a restart and they drop the gate, and I'm in a first turn pile up and broke my hand.
Oh, jeez.
So I didn't make the main. That was the one main event I didn't make that year. And the shitty part about it is I got 9th in points in the championship. But if I would have just gotten a top 10 that night, which would have been about my standard at that time, I would have got 6th in points that year. So I look back on that stupid 32nd board chick who ruined, dude, I could have put a 6 on the board on my career. That would have been awesome. But that photo right there is from practice. I remember because I'm a super conservative rider. I ride really kind of tight and clean. And I remember that photo coming out because my dad, who was with me that night, was like, dude, what are you on? Because I was sending that night. I was just super confident. And I remember actually that photo coming out and being like, dude, this is what, I'm finally riding the bike right. And it was like a joke. So it's funny you found that one of all photos because I do vividly remember it. And it had a specific reason why it kind of was important to me.
That's awesome. Hey, I got a listener question from Nick Still from Moto Limited. He wants to know if he was
that guy.
Yeah, dude, he's just always in my business. But
always.
He wants to know if he was the first Aussie to do main event.
I mean, definitely on the new model. We've made a big change on the show.
Yep.
We're no longer actually, and this is what my brother keeps reminding me. He's like, dude, we're not a podcast anymore. We're a community. The podcast is just one piece. So on Wednesday night and Friday nights, we do a live stream show where, people are in the chat and it's live stream from our phones. It's pretty sick. And he was the first live guest we ever had on. And obviously he's from Australia. So it was like noon, and it was like 9 o'clock at night for us or something. And he popped on, and dude, it was great. And I'm watching this thing happen, and I'm like, this is insane. Like I'm talking to this dude on a live stream from the other side of the world.
He's literally in the future.
Yeah, he's living a day ahead of us, I think, right?
Yeah, like 14 hours. He's probably 16 hours ahead of you, I think, because I think he's 14 ahead of me.
But I'm like, what a weird world we're living in where I'm just like talking to this dude about dirt bikes, and he's on the other side of the globe, and there's like no delay. And it was just kind of one of those like, damn, this is where we're at, huh? This is pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean,
he was the first one, but actually, if you want to go back in time, our very first episode ever was with Chad Reed.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, Nick, you're like 5 years late on that one.
Chad doesn't
and
count.
Not nearly as cool, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut on that one.
Oh yeah, you're not a big Chad guy, huh?
Not so much, but I generally don't talk about. I try not to talk about that on here too much, but yeah, he's.
Why not?
I'm too nice of a guy, Daniel. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
no. Why don't you like him?
Well, I'm not gonna say I don't like him. I just he's rubbed me the wrong way.
For this whole conversation to just completely pivot, I think there's something there. Like, what's the problem?
He rubbed me the wrong way a couple times with on press day at St. Louis the first year. The first year I was doing this, and you invited me up to St. Louis and let me crash in your room to save some money. Mm-hmm. That press day, he was there at press, and I tried to get an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do an interview." I was like, "It's fucking press day."
So, him denying you an interview, carried it all this time. I mean,
Okay, well, I was also going back to my fandom. I was a Stu guy, so that started it. Okay. There's more to it, man. I don't want to get into it, Dan. We're gonna drop it. We're gonna let that one go.
Cool. So what else? I mean, I need to know a legit reason because I'm just not feeling a legit reason at this point. I feel like
we're not gonna do that on this show. So I'm out, man.
You just blew it because I'll never not bring this up now every time I see you. It's just how I operate. So
great.
You just really screwed up.
Hey, have you heard about the Yamaha Privateer race for this year? Have you heard Steve's plan? What he got going?
I know he was like toying around and talking about some like race to the death type thing that Prater wouldn't go along with. But is there something like legit?
He actually went along with it. They are giving him a race.
Did not.
They are giving him a race at Denver on Friday because I guess it's an early race and they're doing qualifying or practice on Friday. And
that's right. Yeah. Dude, it's like a noon start or something like that. Like I think the race is at noon.
They are.
Wait a minute. So Friday is practice, so they're gonna No way.
Yep.
No
He
way.
announced it last night. It's he is getting a race. He is going to have wild cards that he can call in, and all the money is going to that race. He hasn't decided how he's going to divvy it up or all the details yet, but yeah, they apparently all, I assume I guess race day live will be on Friday, right?
I've no idea. Maybe. I haven't even thought that far ahead, dude. I haven't thought past Minneapolis.
Well,
so,
yeah, they gave him a race. They legit gave him a race to the death, basically, and he's like, yeah, I'll call in Vince Freeze as my wild card, and yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hey, just think back to remember when Steve was a rebel and he was like super edgy and he was like anti guy and he was in trouble all the time. Now, what a sellout! He's partners with him. He's partners with Supercross.
Dude, as much as I would like to bust on him, I don't know that he's the sellout. I feel like Feld sold out. They finally just gave in and realized his reach. I think
give the people what they want.
I mean, honestly, I think it's hilarious, and obviously we're just playing around, but. That is pretty funny though. Like if you just think back in time, like dude, he was obviously a menace. Steve is great for what he is, which is there's no filter. Which is ironic because his show is called Pulp, which is like a kind of a filter. So I'm sure there's something to that.
It's not where it comes from though.
No, I know, but it's just hilarious. And now like he still is who he is, but I think what he is here's what's honestly happened there. I think that Feld has learned that Steve, as edgy as he can be, he brings a lot and he cares a lot and he does a lot for a lot of people and he's got opinions and it's okay. And I think Steve has realized that this new generation that's running, and it's not new, they've been around now for a few years, but the people that are running Feld now are so unbelievably like in tune with everybody from the media to the riders to the teams. Like it's so different from the old days. And I never got to work for them in the old days when things were not so cool. So I only know the current group because that's who I've dealt with every day since I've been here.
Yeah.
But this group of people they're so into it and they're so looking every way to innovate. And I think that it's like a mutual respect thing where they're like, you know what, Steve's okay. And Steve's like, you know what, these guys are okay. And now he's got a freaking race on a Friday. It's just laughable to me in a good way that they're come together and put on a race. That's hilarious.
It's gonna be nuts. We were just on the phone with Adam Enticknap, and I really regret not booking Denver as one of the races I'm gonna go to, and I may have to try to figure that out. I don't know if I can, but I need to.
Got to figure it out, man. Got to figure it out. And then that makes sense too. Yeah, I think everything's gonna be on Friday, and I'm sure they'll do something in the morning on Saturday. They're not just gonna send them at the gate. So I bet you there'll be something.
Yeah.
Maybe the main event guys will get a little practice or something, but now that you're saying that, it all kind of ties in. It makes sense.
It's going to be interesting, man. But yeah, we'll see who survives for the big. Oh, what you got, Scotty?
I'm sorry. I was just going to say you mentioned how like in tune they were, and I did my first time ever going to a race as anything other than a fan at Glendale, and Sean Brennan did this, and Carmichael actually did this too, where. When I talked to them, like Sean Brennan was like, he's got 1,000 things going on. And when he talked to me at that moment in time, making sure that I was comfortable in doing anything was his like priority. And like, that's really cool how they do that. And I just think that that's great for the sport.
Yeah. I mean, and Darkside knows this, you've been to enough of them now. Like it's up and down the board. And I think that whole narrative has changed where people used to talk trash on Feld all the time. And obviously that's cooled off because of the people that are running it and how like, good they've been to everybody. Mm-hmm. Sean is absolutely fantastic. Like he goes above and beyond to make sure everyone in the media is happy. He's so organized. Like Sean Jackson, he kills it.
Yeah. Other than trying to change my name.
Yeah, but that's pretty damn funny in my opinion. But Mewey, I mean, from the live event, Dark said, this. So those opening ceremonies, dude, they're untouchable. I mean, it's insane how good they are. And then the teams, there's a lot of relationships that I think have just all come together. And I don't know if that would have happened at any other time than with the people that are there now. Like Dave Prater. I mean, dude, I think he loves the sport more than you and I do. And to have someone that's got, control of where this thing's going, that loves it that much and doesn't look at it as like a job, I think that's why the mood has shifted. That's why the sport is growing because everyone's getting on the same page. And it's great for the sport too because I feel like we're primed and ready to make a big leap. And I don't think that happens when you have people at each other's throats. And it just seems like everything has shifted. And now we're all, like I said, maybe not all on the same page, but we're all in the same book. And that's really, really important for the growth that I think is coming and is needed. Like we're ready for it, and it takes everybody to move this thing. And I think that's why it's working.
Absolutely, man. Well, Daniel, you got anything else before we let you go? Anything you want to touch on?
What's up with Chad, bro? He's not
gonna let that
All right,
go.
well, we'll talk to you soon, Daniel.
No. I do have one.
Okay.
Are you going through with this on Friday?
Yeah, I have to.
So dumb, dude. Don't do it.
I made the deal, man. I'm not gonna welch on a deal.
I think the best thing you could ever do is walk on that stage, flip your two birds up to the crowd, and walk out, dude. Don't do it.
Will you get him a bike if he does?
Yeah, can you get me a bike? Because I don't have a bike anymore, so I don't have a truck anymore, so yeah.
Hey, I just bought myself a bike last week.
Oh yeah, what'd you get?
Honda 150.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'm not talking a pitter.
F or
I'm
the
talking
R?
the R, like the good one, the Ripper one.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, straight up. So my kid, I want to ride with him.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to get a big bike because
Sure.
I just don't, dude. I'm not big, and I also have a lot of injuries. So I just want something that's comfortable so I could ride with him. So I went into the dealership the other day, and there was one sitting there, and I
That's
know
awesome.
the owner, and I called him up. I'm like, dude, what's that thing doing there? He's like, it's for sale. And I said, pull it off the floor. So yeah, I got a dude. I'm back in the game. I got a 150, dude. I'm not even flat-footed on it either. It's terrible, but
It's so great.
but dude, it's perfect. It's like
Yeah.
it satisfies every interest I have. Ride with my kid, and then ride a bike that I'm not afraid of. Like, dude, I ain't getting on a 450 right now. So
Yeah.
so if you keep the pony, dude, I'll let you ride my 150.
Okay. I'll think about that. But jeez.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm about the same size as you, and I've always that's kind of been on my bucket list is to like get like an old like KX100 or something like that, like a big wheel, and then just put all the good factory, all the pipes and stuff on it, and then just go out and rip on that thing. I bet it's fun.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you right now. So my buddy had one, and I rode it probably 6 months ago, and it was the most fun. I mean, honestly, I couldn't even pull off. I was having so much fun, and that's why I got it. But I am saying, I will say this as cocky and aggressive as possible. Dude, as long as I get the carb fixed, I think those things bog a little bit.
Yeah.
You get me a fixed carb and give me about 3 weeks, I'll wax any super mini rider in the country on a supercross track.
I love it.
I mean,
we're
dude,
back.
if Steve's going to get his own race, then I'm going to start working on my own. You line up all the top 10 super minis in the country, give me 5 laps. I will teach them all a lesson.
Bring
on my
Monster Cup
150.
back.
Nah, that track's too fast. I would need a mod there. I'm talking like a tight one. Give me like a tight East Coast one.
Yeah,
Dude, Landon Gordon and all these little super freaks, dude. You don't want none. If I have 3 weeks on my 150.
Dude, I love your.
That'd be awesome.
Your what's the word I'm looking for? Your hot takes.
That one wasn't a hot take. That's just fact. That was just fact. So I throw out hot takes, but that one was that was just straight truth.
Good times. Well, yeah, I think I'm going through with it, Daniel. It's already the deal's been made, man.
All right.
He sold tickets. I'm in. I'm not going to be a dill hole.
Oh, I think it would be legendary, dude. Just flip
It probably
the
would
bird.
be. Honestly,
To get them all hyped and then just oh man.
Kiefer
Remember
said
the movie? Do you remember the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh yeah.
Remember when he walks out on stage and grabs the hose and just sprays down all the audience that's flipping him off?
Yeah.
And then they all cheer him?
Yeah.
That's what would happen, dude. I'm telling you right now, everyone's there to see if this is going to happen. But if you just flip the bird, flip the table, told everyone to eat shit, dude, you'd be a legend. It would never be forgotten.
He ain't wrong,
Never.
Dark Side.
No, he's not. So much to contemplate, Daniel.
I think you really just put a bug in his ear, DB.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude. Hey, what's that old saying? Something, something, but legends never die. What is it?
Fuck, I don't even remember.
Oh, heroes are remembered, but legends never die.
Okay.
There it is, dude. There it is, man. I'm telling you, dude. You do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you do what I'm saying, and it's 10 times more legendary than you going through with it. Just so you know, all for a bike, for a dirt bike.
Hell yeah, for a dirt bike. All right, Daniel, we gotta wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
man.
see, he wants to go.
Yeah,
but you
he's
know
all
I'm right.
back.
Well,
You know I'm right.
I also still have like 3 hours worth of stuff for the wrap up to do.
Oh, he's gonna move. Oh, he's
And
gonna
then I gotta
change
get
it
up
to
at
that.
4 a.m. to drive to Dallas for a doctor's appointment to hopefully figure out what's going on with my back.
Yeah.
So-
all right. Well.
Yeah. So
All right.
Way to bring it down,
I'll let
right?
you go, man. Hey, enjoy these last couple days with the sickest pony in the pits, dude. But yeah, go ahead, go through with it, dude.
All right. When do you get in, man? Friday?
Thursday night, super late.
Okay, yeah, I land at like 8 o'clock Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm like 11, dude. So, and then somehow got to find a way to my hotel and freeze my ass off. It's brutal,
I'm
dude. How
Ubering.
are we going from 90s to negatives?
I know.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm just Ubering there, so yeah, I'll hit you up. Maybe we'll get breakfast or something.
All right, you guys have a good one.
You too, DB. Thanks, man.
Later.
See ya.
Bye.
Man, DB stirring the pot. I don't even know what to do now. Like,
That's not
a bad idea, but long term, I don't know how beneficial that would be.
Okay, to me, it's not the act of actually cutting the hair.
Yeah.
It's the power that it represents, that they got their way. That's what he's telling you to stand up next to. I don't know. I really think that he really did just kind of put something in your head and like you're gonna be on that stage and you might. I don't know. I got to watch it now. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to buy whatever.
I won't be on stage. They changed that. Oh, you haven't heard that yet. I'm not going to be on stage now. I'm going to be in the back.
Well, they're going to cut it on stage.
No, they're going to do it like off stage, so it's not distracting to her. She's like nervous about it.
Well, but they're going to initially cut the pony on stage.
Oh, that probably yes, but the actual haircut, which was originally supposed to be on stage, will not be.
Well, that's fine, but no, but the cutting of the pony will be on. That they would not do it on the stage, but
Well, they were going to.
No, I'm saying the haircut is one thing. I'm talking about because, like, as far as I'm here, what I've gathered is that, like, basically Kiefer's going to snip it and then she's going to cut it afterwards.
Yeah.
So the snipping of the pony will be live on TV.
Yes.
So I was kind of debating whether or not to get the channel thing that it was going to be on, but now that there's a possibility that there's a rebellion happening, I think I might have to go ahead and
it's in my mind. So yeah, you guys better be watching. We got to wrap this thing up, dude. I got a lot to do.
I know.
I want to thank Cherubies USA, Race Tech, Fly Racing, X Brand Goggles, Works Connection, Torque One Racing, R Jerky, Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID, Shock Socks, Williams Motor Works, Extreme Colors, Blood Lubricants, Power Band Racing, True Fusion. I feel like, hang on one second. I think I had a message earlier of a question to ask, and I probably missed it. That was something else. Okay, never mind. I think it doesn't matter. Thanks to Shane McElrath, Austin Forkner, Adam Enticknap, and Daniel Blair for coming on. Scotty, appreciate you coming in.
Yep.
That's a wrap for 223. We will be back next week. I think I have some guests lined up, but I don't remember who the hell they are yet. Support our Patreon, our YouTube, iTunes, all that stuff. Follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff, social media stuff. You know, I'm old, so I'm probably not using the proper terminology, but you know what's up.
That computer stuff.
That computer stuff. like Hal always says, get on the YouTube or the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're out. Thanks. Okay. That went way fucking longer than I wanted it to. But it was good. It was a good show. I think. Let me know when you're done with that because.